And we are live and recording. So actually, I'm going to go over a couple of names in mind. Netties. That's the one I was literally charting for 3 hours yesterday. That with UNH. Also ANTM. MCK, I just started charting now. I forgot they had earnings this week. Eli Lilly, LLY, also as well. I didn't do BYND. That's going to be a big risk. But I have a trading solution for that one, for a lotto, both sides. But let's begin. So the long play I've been talking about last night was Netties. Here's Netties. Our daily chart. That's going to put up the monthly. Much more constructive. I don't know why this got my attention so much. I guess because of GWW. Because, you guys know I love GWW. It's a China stock in a sense. Bad China news, GWW goes down. Good China news, GWW goes up. No news, GWW goes up and moves nicely, And Netties, I was watching and I'm looking at it and I'm like, dag, nobody was talking about it as much. Drew and our team love to trade Netties. But when I noticed that it was having a couple of down days and it wasn't doing good this past month, I was like, you know what? Let me check the chart out. So immediately I open up the monthly. Let me get rid of these purple boxes. Let me clear everything up real quick for you guys. Clean this everything up. So basically, I was going over the chart. The monthly stood out to me. Why? Because of the 14 and 30 SMA. Very important. This purple line, that's a coefficient that I actually added. Let me edit that and save it as a default. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to remove it now. Okay, here we go. So as you guys can see, it's currently trending in a bearish flag. It's a bear flag. Bear flag is basically a rising channel. That channel that you see me have drawn here, which was this. This is it's like a bear flag. A bull flag basically trends down. A bear flag trends up. Then it drops down, as you can see here. Green channel up, red channel down, green channel up, or some sideways action. So Netties is actually reporting next week, not this upcoming week. But a lot of things I've noticed as I'm looking at the chart that stood out to me the most, the monthly. The monthly closes this week. And my thoughts for this month is they hold 231.58. If they tank Netties below 231.58 this week and closing below 231.58 this week, it's not going to look good. That's our double bar. That's basically the mid-range between the lower gray bar and the red mid bar of basic. Let me just do it like this. Let's annote. I'm just gonna annote it. There we go. Makes it more easier. This is lower, and this is upper, and then mid of the gray of the two gray bars, you have the red bar here, and between the red bar and this gray bar down here, you have our double bars, and between these bars is basically our mid range, right? So that's basically currently what price is at, trading between 242.61 and 231.58. Correct. So my thoughts, 14 SMA is holding pretty well and strong. Price basically broke down below the 14 and 30 over here. Found the bottom at 184, which we caught that. That was last year. Who cares? It's a new year. We actually had some more opportunities. Came up, tested the 14 SMA. And then it vacuumed over the 30 SMA. But then it got rejected at the top of the channel here. Came back in to the 14 SMA because this is exactly how price works. And it started basically hovering in between the 14 and the 30. Now it's back at the 14 again. from here is I'm looking at a long idea. I did a lot of, I used Think Back, never used that before, fell in love with it last night, and I was like, wait. So I just saved a ton of homework doing backtracking last night. So I did a backtrack. I'm gonna show you guys a move that I noticed in the channel. It's very amazing. Amazing. That's how I got the 700 to 26,000 like post that I did on Twitter. I didn't take the trade. I just did it. I used Think Back. So if you had put 700 in it or even bought one contract for $70, you could have made a killing off of that. But okay, so this is crazy. So when I was doing my numbers and I used Think Back, I was looking at this red bar. This was going to be my target area to trade. Not saying this is going to be the exact same move, but if you're looking at the chart right now on the weekly, it looks exactly the same. This move here, playing off of this lower trend, worked out, always hits the double bar. May not only go up to the top of the trend, but it will come back. And I noticed around earnings season is when things actually start to ramp up for this one. So I looked at some calls here. I used to think back around this time. I was looking at the 252 calls. Mind you, this thing was trading at 220. So that's a 30-point move. So 252 calls expiring April 29th. They were worth 70 cents, and they were worth 70 cents. And I was like, oh, this is pretty interesting. You know, like, I want to see what this would. So I put in 10 contracts. That was $700 value. And before expiry, a week before expiry, because expiry was this week, a week before expiry, actually it wasn't this week. It was around here. Price at 278.40, it was worth 200 and I think no, it was actually each contract was worth 2,600 or yeah, $2,600 per contract. So I'm like, wow, that's amazing, you know. Buying time. The only thing is premium was going up and down, up and down, up and down, and here it came down, and this is where like around here it really started moving until it got over the double bar, and then it had this big move, and everything just jumped. It was nuts. So I'm willing to play this again. Similar setup. You guys see this box here? Something about this bottom of this trend line has been a buy signal. And it's always ended with, it always starts with a red, somewhat of a red hammer and then a green hammer, as you can see here. And then same here. And this is another week. So my thoughts is either we come outside here, bounce off 231. I'm looking to, honestly, I want this to open at around 236. That's my target, 236. I'll take the 245 calls long. Weeklies. I want to buy 10 contracts of the weeklies. I want to buy another 10 contracts of bi-weeklies. And then I wanted to buy 2.5 months out because I'm looking for a move to test here to basically bounce. And by the time where I want it is around September, I want it somewhere around here. September 6th to the September 20th. Price will be somewhere in this range. This is my target. But again, nothing is guaranteed. So if my weeklies fail me, then that means the real trade is to go short. So if this bear flag breaks, we will come down to, we'll either test here, come down to 231, bounce up a little bit, and then we'll come all the way down here. That's gray bar. And the reason I was saying that China stocks are going to have a great month, I think Netties is a China stock, if I'm correct. But I could be wrong. You know, I don't care. I don't look at the fundamentals. I'm a chart trader. I trade off a chart. Trends, price, volume, 1430, kill the channels. Basically, I'm going to show you guys this because this is what I'm looking at. And you're going to see it on the watch list. You can take a screenshot if you want. Actually, just watch the video. I'm looking at this week's 240s, 240, 250s, and 245 calls. The 237s, if the price gets to 236 upon open, I'm definitely jumping into 240s. And I'm also going to jump into the 242s and the 245s. My contract spread is going to be different. It's going to be smart. It's going to be safe. I want to lock in each three strikes, and I want to sell into them towards the end of the week. I'll basically explain that as you guys will catch on to it, as I did with the same thing we did with URI. We got into 122s. It spiked up. We sold half. Next day, sold more. It came back. We got into 124s. That's what I want to do. So that's Netties. Short and sweet. Long term, I'm looking at the 922.80 calls. They are trading at $2. I want them under 165 if I can. Hopefully, to get them under 165, price has to get under Price has to get under this last week's close. So next up, UN. UN was beautiful. The end of day close. But more importantly, UN has never, no matter what happened, has never broke the ascending triangle in a breakdown. It got close to the top of the triangle, but it didn't break down. Made me even more bullish. This is why I got long. I wish I even went a little heavier. And when it falls, it likes to bounce. It bounces really good too as well. Has a nice bounce in a short time. So it went from 238 to 257. Then it came back down again. Here we have something similar. Off of the red bar. Nice cup and handle forming. Right? Oh, wait. Oh, undo. So we have a trend down. Bounced perfectly off that 247.77. The smartest thing to do was go long 247.77. I can even use Think Back as an example to give to you and show you buying the 255 calls for next week, not the 2nd, the 9th, how much they will pay out. But what really gets me on this chart, simple, just I'm going to simplify things, forget the ascending triangle. This is the hourly. Falling wedge. But check this out. Price came, oops. Price came all the way down. Wait, I'm not actually trying to draw a thing. Sorry about that. Price came down and it found its bottom here. Why did it find its bottom there? Because that's where the 14 and 30 SMA crossed. And then price came above that. And then the trend became the same. It started becoming something of what we predated. Look how clean it trades when it's below the 14 and 30 SMA. When that bounce happens, that bounce happens. It's always good to try to be there when it happens. Here, it just tanked all the way. It tried to come, it tanked here, tried to come back up here, but it couldn't get over that 30 SMA. But the point is that 238 was also resistant. So there was no way that this was gonna work out. So it tanked all the way down to 208.08. And then we got, oops, sorry. That moved back over the 14 and 30 SMA again. Here. And then it came down again, crossed, get back up, trended, got under it again, and it just kept going. This is getting very tight. This is basically a very tight move that's coming right now. So if I was to play this, which I'm playing this at open to 255 calls, I like them, the 250, 250s, any little dip, gets back under 250, 245, I am long. That's possibly around the 14 SMA. So that's 251.06. I don't know where it's going to open at. I don't want, because this is what I'm nervous about. In a good way. I'm nervous that we're not going to have to chase, but I'm gonna pay it. I wanted to pay the 250 call. They're trading at $2 in the $2 range, and the 255s. So if a gap up did happen, we will take the 255s, ride them for the first hour or two, and then we'll get out. Any gap above, I'm gonna show you right now. Any gap above 254.10 come Monday, that's gonna just keep running. If we want it to open flat, a little tiny pullback, just a little tiny pullback. But this flag is so similar to this other flag over here. It's like, it's so clean. Look at this. This is 14. Oops, did it again. 1430 SMA. Cross. And then that, I think this was a Wednesday, it gapped up that high with that news with Trump and everything like that. I think that's when that happened. Not too sure. But here, now we're trading above the 1430 SMA. We have support. Targeting 255, 257, up until 260, 250. You never, no matter what targets I give you early in the week, you never buy further out on a Monday. You will get crushed. Premiums are jacked. Not really jacked. They look cheap, but they're considered jack on a Monday because it's opening week. That first hour, after the first hour passes, this premium starts coming down, and the real price sits in. A lot of you are like, oh, I'm going to make a killing on this week. I'm going to jump into 260s right away. You won't jump into 260s right away because you're going to jump into, the best time to jump into anything that's 4 or 5 points further. No, that's actually 8 points. Well, from close, let's say the closing was 253, rounded out, a 7-point move by Friday. I mean, UNH doesn't move in 7-point ranges. UNN actually moves huge, moves big, you know, so. Targeting, like I've been doing a lot this week, like a lot with charts and just going over my fibs, seeing how I can tweak them to make them even more simple. I love all my lines, how I have them, how clean they are, how they react to each other. I can even overlay an extension over a retracement, and it's just so freaking clean. I just created another red bar. Red bar is at 260.05. Looking at a weekly, and this is what I want you guys to always do. When you're looking over charts before the week starts, look at the weeklies. Look at the lows and look at the highs. Look at the range of the candle they produce. Because we broke out that bull flag with this here. Now, call me crazy, we might just see 265 this week. Why? One of my favorite setups in with candles are 2 inside candles, 2 basically red inside candles. As you see here, you have this engulfing candle. Then you have the price come and retreat inside of it. And then what follows after that? If they bounce us to 248, that would be sexy. That would be amazing. But they're going to bring this 14 SMA, this 30 SMA up right here. They're going to bring this up. It's going to be somewhere around here, say 250. Now, price opens at 252.45. I am 100% long. And what's going to happen? It's going to basically engulf outside of these 2 candles. They can either leave the price inside for a while. For example, look over here, engulfed. Price came inside. Wait, nope. Sorry. Here's a perfect example. Let me just clear this out. Sometimes you don't even have to draw anything. It's already there for you to see. So check this out. Same pattern I'm looking at. And the funny part is, look where it bounced off at. That third candle bounced off the 30 SMA. Next week was an inside, was an in and outside. So what happened was we got, this is what we got. 272.30 calls for September would be amazing. That's a 20-point move from where we currently are. Now I'm looking long-term again. I love looking at long-term because I want to park money in long-term. So my account, how I'm trading my account this week, I'm playing very smart. I'm going to be parking little bits of money very far out, more size out, and some weeklies I'm going to be in the money heavy, but safe, so that if it goes against me, I can get out with minimum damage. And if it worked for me, I get out with a nice amount of profit. So let's do a compare contrast. I'm focusing on ANTM because I love it. I love it. After that Lotto Friday, it was over. That means it's ready. See, they did these candles a little bit backwards. You have the first green one here, similar to here. Like, you guys are going to call me crazy. I don't know if you guys don't even see it. I'm going to show you guys something else before that too, after this. We have this hammer here. Then we have this candle here. Similar. All of them are still inside, right? Followed by, next week, inside and up. Targeting 265. Do not go into 265 right away. You want to make sure the bottom is in for the week. And how you do that? Wait till Wednesday. Because you got Wednesday, end of day, and you got Thursday, lunchtime. You usually catch bottoms. So between end of day, Wednesday, and midday Thursday, the bottom should be in for the week. Right? I'm going to clear this up because I'm going to show you something else. And you guys are going to be like, wow, I didn't see that. Some of you might have seen it because you guys know how I am. Nobody noticed this candle setup here. 1430 tested, both 1430, both candles tested 1430. Those same candles, same pattern, tested 14 and 30. Similar. It's crazy. When you find setups like this, you have to watch them. Even if you made money from it, keep them on watch, because if it comes back into a buy zone, you're gonna go long. I'm gonna point out some more obvious things that you might not notice, but longer time frame, just so I love them. So we had a big rejection at our middle fib combo, which was the green level, right? Over here, price got above it, and it traded all the way up and out of it, right? To the top of this channel. Here, rejected, and came all the way down to this channel, bottom of this channel. Now we're back at this green bar. 252.45 is a key level. A key level. So there's a lot of things that's going to play out with this trade. A lot of things. You have a cup and handle. You have a ascending triangle. You have a bull flag breakout. It's already been happening. And you have a possible inverse head and shoulders, if this is going to be the right shoulder. After it hits 270, and it doesn't go any higher than that, it's going to come all the way back down to 238. Very possible. But if it gets above that, breaks out and goes to 287, close to 300. So we closed above 252.45. There was a lot of demand at 247.77. A lot of the demand there. That's the blue level. Good short spot and a good long spot, depending if the price closes below or above. They have the strikes and everything ready for that. You're playing near the money. If you're on a Monday, you play in the money, at the money, near the money, not out the money. If you're playing out the money, play next week. Only time you play out the money on a Monday is you play the following week. You don't play the same week. Unless it's like the move is substantial. It gaps down. Like, let's say it gaps down to 247.77 or 251, because that's crazy. It gaps down to 251 or no volume, then I don't know by that time what's the value of the 260 is going to be. I mean, if I sat at, or the 265, I sat at the 265 at 5 cents, and if I somewhat got filled, that will probably be the bottom for the week for those two. But the price will change as time goes. So 1430 SMA cross, bounced off a bit one more time. So for the next few weeks, we are going to be trading outside of the 1430 SMA, which is uber bullish. Uber bullish. So that's UNH. Sorry, this is UNH, not ANTM. I'm so sorry. I love UNH. Because UNH is the one you play the lottos. Now let's get to ANTM. Another one. And I don't know if you guys pay attention Friday. I was watching ANTM and UNH. They both were moving the same. When ANTM got near high of the day, I was like, this is how I knew UNH was gonna hit my target. it was going to hit my target. I was screaming and everything, but this is how I knew. Why? Because ANTM was strong and UNH was following ANTM while VRTX was getting hammered. Reagan was getting hammered. Reagan popped end of day. Somebody knows something. A lot of things popped end of day. It was nuts. So some more data is coming out or something this week. I hope it's Tuesday. Or, yeah, I hope it's Tuesday. Or Monday after hours. We're already in. But look at this hammer. This is earnings week. 23.7 point range. Amazing. Amazing how this held. Beautiful. Target, I want us to bounce down to 298.57. Getting some 300 calls. 302.50s and 305s. But the smart move for this one, because this is a weekly candle. This is not even a monthly candle. We're inside, similar to UNH. Inside candle, it's going to be an up move. Next week, I have a feeling this week is going to be a huge week for bios. I just have that feeling just by the setup. 310, very possible this week. 315, definitely possible this week. You have what? 13-point weekly ranges. This one was a 31-point range. This one was a 23.7 range. Minimum, about 12-point ranges. So do the math. 12 points over 298. Easy. You have 310. But if it gets big, if it gets outside of 310, if it gets, I'm actually gonna set an alert. Because this is very important. This is why I set alerts. Because if this hits, at this time, I might take the 312s if they have 312s. But there's going to be a lot of plays I'm going to be doubling up on. And by doubling up, I'm not talking about doubling the position. I'm going to be playing, if I'm playing ANTM 305s this week, I'm going to pay the 315s next week. Give myself that 10-point spread of a candle. So if the candle on average is a 12-point candle range, I'm going to give myself 12 points, right? I'm going to give myself 12 points a week out. So I'm already in the move. Because I can definitely see ANTM hitting 330 by end of August. So keep that one in mind as well. Also in ascending as well. Next up, Eli Lilly. My old favorite. I remember us playing it around here. Getting long right here. And we took some leaps around here too. One of our traders, but right now I forgot where he's at right now. He's traveling for the year, so he'll be back. His name's Alex. Amazing dude. He played leaps. He played the 95 leaps from 70 for January. I like this because of the falling wedge. The reason I'm saying pharmaceuticals are going to be doing good this week because everything is set up and primed right. A vacuum needs to happen here. Just by looking at Eli Lilly, you see a vacuum has to happen. They report this week. The calls are very cheap. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was like a year and a half ago when it was trading. It was trading around, I think it was 102. And then 1 week it just ripped to like 115. And we had like calls at like 3 cents, 8 cents, and they ripped up to $3 in like an hour. It was like crazy, but some crap, but it was amazing. So this is the buy zone. This is the buy area, 105.43. As you can see, bulls held it above here. And now we're basically currently trading outside of the 14 SMA and the 30 SMA. So this is what I like here. I'm thinking nice long, playing in the money for ER, just in case it bounces back, and then we go long. Or playing the one, my thing is the 113s. 115s for next week, 113s for this week. I feel like they're going to blow it out the water. Actually, didn't even put up the corporate action. So I'm going to show you the corporate action here. Give you an idea of earnings. I like to use corporate action just because it gives you an idea of earnings. Where's it at? Here we go. Show corporate actions. So, and I use vertical line. So it tells me exactly that week that they reported. So this one was, I think it was here. That range was 5-point range that week. This one, was earnings conference call. Another one here. This one was a 7-point range that week. Just give you guys an idea. This one was a freaking 8-point range that week. Now we're here. Looking for that vacuum to work. There's a lot of things you got to look at. Look at every single thing. So I'm looking at the 110, 112s, up to 114 calls for this week on Eli Lilly. As a lotto, it's going to be a lotto because it's an ER play. It's a lotto. But they are pretty cheap, which it has me like very curious why they're so cheap. I didn't look at the put side, but I looked at the call side. Possibly the put side is more expensive. I don't know, but that's actually something good to have, like one side. Sometimes it's obvious, like, oh, the call side is so heavy and it's so expensive, but the put side is so cheap, and the put side ended up paying off. Something else I used to indicate direction too. That's Eli Lilly. Simple, nice setup. Next up, MCK. I just do this actually when I turn the live on. I love this setup. They report this week. I mean, it could be a bull flag breakdown, very possible. Let me just clean this up. All right, rising channels. And you gotta remember the monthly, like I told you guys, the monthly chart, they probably come down and then form like a nice hammer this week. Very possible. But monthly chart, because they report and the monthly candle closing of this month. So far it's been rejecting. And this is something I need to start looking at more too. This week, the past week, they closed the monthly candle. The monthly candle is not completely closed yet, but they closed it under the 30 SMA, which is pretty interesting. They touched the 148.68. So my question is that going to be the high of the month? And then they're going to reject and come back down and test the 14? It's a lot of questions that I ask myself in trading, because you have to. You never know how this is going to work out. Calls are pretty decent. Nobody's really talking about MCK, which is good. Which is good for going long and going short, because you never know which way it can go, and one of these ways is going to be explosive. So this monthly, let's see if we can get us back to that 148.68 and get us through it to 150. That would be awesome. I mean, everything else is setting up. There's a 4-hour. Trading inside. Thing is, if it breaks below 137.82, that's something you got to watch for. It should accelerate lower. But it's currently trading in a channel right now. Very constructive one. I'm going to use this candle basically closed that, well, opened that up to here. This is our range. This purple line is new in the channel I added because it just shows where prices control that. It's a coefficient I work on. I want to see how it reacts, but so far it's doing great. Blue line is mid-range of the channel. When price closes above it, it goes higher. Price closes below it, goes lower. But you can see here, we're trading below the 14 to 30 SMA. I love candle setups like this as well. Need to get to that 140. So playing the 140 calls, one contract if they're expensive, two contracts if they're not expensive and affordable. Target is always profit, but my target for this one would be in between that previous high of 148.23 and 145. Not sure how this one's going to play out, but this one's pretty interesting. It can play out many ways. But just keep this one on radar. That's MCK for ER this week. BKNG is the following week. So they're already jacked up for BKNG. Make sure. Yeah, BKNG is the following next Thursday. We did ANTM. Oh, we got to go back to URI. URI, we have to do URI. Now, URI, I'm thinking we hit our peak last week. We're going to come back down to 125. And that's what I'm going to get long at. They had a vacuum. They did a clear vacuum in 1 week of a session. Came all the way down to 117.75 on Monday. Then it just ripped all the way to the 30 SMA. Now we're going to come down to 126.25. We're going to find support off of the 14 SMA. So looking for a long position in this one, I would only get long when price is under 126.25. So from here, I want to be short. But as we know, URI is a funny one. And it moves strong when the market moves strong as well. So keep that in mind. This one's going to be on radar as well. I'm looking at 126 puts and 125 puts. But if it holds this double bar at 127.50, then we're going to look for 129 puts, 131 puts, in that range. It's definitely buy time. But they moved this so perfectly, so nice, so strong. And then the monthly candle closes Wednesday. Get in there. There we go. Just one more bounce back. That. Nice hammer. Wouldn't be surprised if they close this week over the 131.51 by Wednesday. I just want one more pull down. One more pull down to 126.25. This is a buy level here, as you can see, which red bar. And then push it up. Look at the weekly. That's what definitely made a nice hammer. Oh, not a hammer. Sorry. This is a pretty interesting setup, though, to be honest. It just looks like a smaller range of our setup from that double bottom over here. I'm going to show you right now. See this? These are both acted off of resistances. Now they need to get this to hold 126.25, and then we'll possibly see somewhat around 136.76. But how it moves in small ranges it has, we have 134 possible max for this week. And that depends on how SPY reacts too and how market reacts as a whole. But this double bottom here was pretty strong. We have like a triple top in a sense. The real resistance was 136.76. Once that price closes above 136.76, I'm targeting 140 a week out and 145 2 weeks out from that week that it closes above 136.76. That's URI. So weekly looks good. I like it. So let's see how it plays out. There's a lot of many names, BYND. I watch it. I mean, I was talking to a guy at a bar for like, I think 5 hours. We were talking about it. He was going to go. He wants to go short. He plays stocks. We play options. So I don't know. I mean, 295, 300 on earnings. I mean, this is a weekly chart. Last week alone, it moved 61 points. It could be very aggressive. To be honest, they report 729. So that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow. And I think that's after close. So, I mean, this is just amazing. Tops out at 295. Then we're going to short that bad boy to what is it? Comes down, boom, 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 217.70. But at 265 is going to be interesting as well. Everybody's anticipating a big move both ways. I don't know what's going to happen. But all I know is going to be interesting. And if they're going to put it 300s, it can move crazy. That's all I know. Getting over 265.99. This is my thing. We either come here, pull back, or we just go straight through. And then we pull back, come down here, and then we start somewhat like reject, come back down, back up, then come down to here. I'm not saying this is exactly what's going to happen, but it's very possible. This is how I'm seeing this play out. I haven't looked at the calls or anything, but I will look at them. Definitely want to play this long. I definitely want to play this long, and I definitely want to play short as well. I can't see. I mean, this is a weekly chart. If it closes anywhere over 236.14 going into earnings, then the long is going to work. If it closes below 236.14 into earnings, so if you watch the price and see where it goes into the close, they push it down or push it up, keep that in mind. That's going to be very important because it acted strongly to our levels here. Let me draw a daily chart. One thing I don't like is this candle on the daily. I don't like it at all. Look where it's at. So look at the daily now, it looks different. Now you're like, oh, it's just a short. But usually a red candle forms from here. I'll show you right now. Rejects here and it comes down. 200 puts or 300 calls. Targeting, because it has not touched 14 SMA on the daily and 30 SMA on the daily in a long time. Let me bring the whole chart over. Last time it tested 14. Bear with me. Last time it tested 14 was here. Was early July. Last time it tested the 30, it hasn't yet. So it has to test the 30 soon. Not sure when. That's the question. So we're either going to get about 236 and then tank down to around 185. But the guy, he was going to go short tomorrow, and his target was 185. Well, he was going to do 175. I was saying 185 is more smart. It's more safer. You don't know. You never know. But this is what these are the two failed attempts that can happen. Either go up here, tank. They look like they beat, and then they come. I mean, I don't see them beating or whatever possibly might be. These are my scenarios. Very possible. But it's ER play, so you got to play smart. And don't get too aggressive. Definitely not the way to go. And play small.